Welcome everyone to the World Ninja League Premier Series Finals, the first competition of its kind, coming to you live from the concrete jungle, Brooklyn, New York at Ferox Athletics, where our course designers Ramses Valdez and Zach Eichenstein have put together an extremely difficult course for our athletes and our challengers here today. Ramsey's known for his power, Zach for his technique, and that is on full display for our athletes here today. Take a look at this run order. Who are these athletes? These are the best of the best. Our waves, our competition series here started with your top 25% from the World Ninja League Season 8 results. And these athletes came together for a qualifying competition all across the country, all across the world. And we narrowed it down to the top 4 from each of those competitions. So these are the best of the best athletes. We are pretty excited to see what they have for us here today. Now, the format for today's competition, we are going to have their placement course. On the placement course, the athletes will be running with a fall and done mentality. As soon as they fail an obstacle, their time stops. That course is going to be faster, a little bit quicker. They are going to have to really push the pace in order to get a top spot. And the reason for getting that top spot, that is your seeding round for the challenge course. The challenge course is a very technical, very difficult course. It'll have a longer time limit, and they'll have 2 retries, only 1 retry per obstacle. And we have definitely seen that those retries are getting used on the challenge course. Now, before I forget, I have a co-commentator here today. Everyone, my name is Mary. I am the Commentator Ninja, and I am joined by the one and only Travis Rosen. Travis, what do you think we can expect from today's competition?
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, this is going to be a great competition. But like you were talking about, some of these course designers from Ferox, it's going to be very technical. This course is very challenging, very fast, but you have to have a lot of very precise movements if you want to go far and do it quickly. So it's going to be pretty intense. We've already seen that from the female division. These males, they're going to tear it up. I know. I'm excited for some good ninja action.
Yeah, and these athletes, what's on the line right now? Being the Premier Series champion, that means you are truly the best of the best. We talked a little bit about how it was your top 25%, narrowed down to your top 4 from competitions all across the globe. We will see athletes from Australia. We will see athletes from Israel, from the UK. We'll also see some athletes that are sponsored by the some organizations that have seen the value in these athletes and sponsored them even in the kids division. So we will get more into that as these athletes run, but let's take a look at some of our top athletes that have placed throughout the season. Bentley Boyd. Now, Bentley is one of everyone's top picks to win. You see him there training at Austin Ninjas. He is a super fast athlete, and we are very excited to see what he is going to have for us here today. Now, these are our athletes that have placed first at their qualifiers. Bentley is also sponsored by Ocean Needs Everyone and took first place at Motive. Now, Blake Artis, another one of our sponsored athletes by Studio Dre. That's a ninja parkour and breakdancing facility. And Blake is from Australia. He placed second place at the Perth qualifier. And home gym is Ninja Academy Perth. Now, one of our international athletes ranked second in the Western Australia League. Pretty phenomenal. Jamie Collins Jr., Ninja Beast. This guy, man, what an athlete. First place at Austin Ninjas. His home gym, True Momentum. They have some phenomenal athletes out here competing today, and I can't even begin to tell you what you can expect from this young athlete. Next up, we have Shane Young. Shane Young, one of our athletes to watch. He's coming to us from the Modus qualifier. Now, you see that next level shirt that this athlete is wearing. He trains with Abby Clark and Joe Capo, where they have some of the strongest linking techniques out there, and that is going to be something that's great for us to see Shane tackle on the placement course. Up next, we have Tanner McKenna. Tanner McKenna, Steel City Ninja athlete. I have always said this about Steel City Ninjas. They like to go fast. Now, one advantage for Tanner here today is that he placed first at the Ferox qualifier. So he is absolutely no stranger to competing here. And he also has that confidence of having done extremely well on some very technical moves already at this gym. And finally, certainly last but not least, we have Tyler Bowers. Take a look at those moves. Tyler Bowers took first place at the Life Force qualifier. Now, the Life Force qualifier had some interesting movements and a lot of moves that you just had to execute one right after the other. And if the placement course for the kids males is anything like it was for the kids females, that execution over and over again, that is going to be something that you need to have on lock if you're going to be successful here today.
Yeah, definitely, Mary. These kids are going to have to really be on top of their game if they want to be champions of Premier League today. As you said, this first course is a placement round, so there's a little less pressure because they're still going to move on, but this is going to depend where they fall on the challenge course. And with Ninja, it's always so important to go a little further on because you get to see other ninjas go before you and see what they're doing that works well, what doesn't work. So there's a lot of strategy. So if they can go further, you can clear this course faster than others, that's going to only help their chances of success later on in the challenge course.
Absolutely. We definitely saw in the female division that the being able to go later in the run order played a huge advantage. There were, some strategies that didn't pay off, some strategies that did by seeing everyone and deciding how to approach your course run, but it definitely was an advantage to go later. So you'll definitely want to see these athletes really pushing the pace. And our first athlete to push the pace here today, we just talked about him. It is Blake Artis, and he is coming to us from Ninja Academy Perth, one of our sponsored athletes, sponsored by Studio Dre, and he's here to push the pace. He's here to go quick. Now, something to note about international competition. So we know the training style in the United States, right? It's different in Australia. I think the biggest difference is that their difficult courses are typically more grip gauntlet courses as opposed to power endurance and technical moves. The Perth competition, very much a grip gauntlet for those athletes. Now, having seen the challenge course for the females, I think that that's going to bode well for Blake here. Having that grip endurance definitely going to pay off. But when tackling some of those more technical moves, we'll have to see how he does.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Blake does even right now, standing up there at the starting platform. You've got nerves going on, and he is handling it well. I can tell. I mean, he's just sitting there, but it's tough as an athlete, but I know he's going to just be able to use that nervous energy to really light up this course, and I'm excited to see it.
All right, and we'll be getting Blake started here in just a quick second. Now remember, the placement course, it is fall and done, so as soon as an athlete has a misstep, that means that their time stops and their points stop, and that is where they are going to go and be placed for the placement course.
Mary,
or the challenge course, excuse me.
Mary, I think, is Blake one of our sponsored athletes?
Yes, he is. We just talked about Studio Dre. That's a ninja parkour and breakdancing facility. So this is not even his home gym that's sponsoring him to come out here. It does look like he does train at Studio Dre, and I think we saw some of those parkour moves getting through that first obstacle.
Yeah, it's great having an obstacle like the parkour blocks there at the beginning that it is a little tricky, a little technical, but it's really more just to kind of help you settle in, get some speed, get the nerves shaken off, then you can get into the rest of this course. And on this obstacle right here, you really want to try to be as efficient as possible, waste as little time as possible, because as we can see, the time is almost out already on his course run, so can't really waste the time like this.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing even here, some of the difference between the training styles from Australia to the US. Blake took a lot of moves on those bars. He wasn't moving quite as efficiently as he maybe could have on that movement. But again, Australia, grip gauntlets is the name of the game, and so it'll be interesting to see how Blake adjusts his approach going into the challenge course.
Yeah, and I think with a
Our,
run like that, he's probably going to be one of the first competitors on the challenge course, which doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. He won't be able to see all the ninjas go before him and kind of get some technique down from what they're doing, but he can still go out and crush the course even if he's one of the early competitors. But we'll have to see how the rest of the males do and see where his placement winds up.
And up next is going to be Shane Young. Now, Shane is from Next Level Ninja. We talked about him again, another athlete that we talked about being one of our top picks. Right, he has came in fourth at Modus. Pretty technical course there too, but I'm excited to see his efficiency. Especially some of those laches through that second obstacle. We'll see if he links some of those movements. I think training with, when you look at an Abby Clark video, who is his coach, the links are always on point. Same for Joe Capo. So I'm excited to see that transition of knowledge into their athletes here.
Yeah, and apparently his favorite snack is Doritos, so we'll see if that helps him here.
I created an obstacle called the Dorito once. It was a triangular UFO. But I don't think they have it in the course today. So Shane will just have to be relying on his speed here. All right, looks like our male athletes have 1 minute. Making some quick moves here through the steps. Easily getting up to those rings. Nice back pull. Oh, and using those reaches. He's not even linking. He's using that wingspan. And doing that technique that you identified earlier, Travis, of just reaching right through from the back bar, not going to that bar. Now, the advantage for the male athletes is that they have seen how the female athletes went through this obstacle, and you already saw some more aggressive movement. Looks like Shane wasn't sure where to go, but he's got it down. Now on to the final obstacle with only 10 seconds left. Maybe we'll see some links on display here. Setting those hips back, reaching out to the bar, and that's going to do it for his time.
It was great attempt by Shane. He's only the second male to go so far today. He really flew through that second obstacle, very efficient, but really this is going to be a very, very difficult course to clear in just 1 minute. Really, there's no room for error, but not even room for a lot of extra time spent on swings or sizing up an obstacle. They're really going to have to go just as quickly and efficiently as possible if they want to have a chance to finish this course.
Absolutely, and hopefully Graham Royal can help us out here. Graham is an athlete from Life Force Ninja. Again, another pretty technical course they had there. A lot of footwork, a lot of movement. And I think we're seeing, Travis, I think your comments on actually clearing this course are very, very accurate, right? You've absolutely have to be perfect. There is no room for error, no room for extra swings. Even thinking back to our last runner, Shane, he had an efficient run. By no means was it inefficient, but, an extra swing here or there, and he wasn't able to clear. But Graham is, struggling on the slider. We have seen some athletes struggle on this slider. With only 3 seconds. And that is going to do it for his run.
It was a great effort by Graham. And again, what I like to advise ninjas is something that I used to do all the time, is really have a well thought through approach before you run the course. You've thought through every obstacle. You've thought through how I'm going to grab here, how I'm going to grab there, because again, a lot of times it does come down to even seconds, even milliseconds sometimes. So if you've already done the mental prep, it helps you when you step up on the course.
All right, well, here is Tyler Bowers, another Life Force athlete, and Skyhook Ninja Fitness, qualified at Life Force. And I'm seeing in his bio that this kid casually throws some 10-foot laches. So, no big deal to be in the kids division throwing 10-foot laches. But what that tells me about this athlete is that he is confident in his ability. You got to be confident to throw a 10-foot lache. And if we get to the last obstacle, which I think we will, maybe we'll get to see some of those big throws, because he's definitely going to need them in order to make that clear. Quick movement through the footwork. Don't fall on the dominoes. All right, this could be it, Travis. Loads of time on the clock. And Tyler can throw 10-foot laches. I'm hoping he skips that sidebar. Decides to go to it, but it doesn't hold him back too much. And a little hesitation. Now there's throwing a 10-foot lache in practice, and then there's committing to those movements in competition. What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, that's a tough part as an athlete, especially in the middle of a course run, because you have that moment of, okay, should I go for it even though I might fall? Or do I want to play it a little safer? And it looks like he had a moment of hesitation there. And maybe it was the right move. Maybe he would have fallen had he gone for that. But had he just taken a couple extra swings out here or there, maybe linked a couple of those big swings, he might have been our first course finisher.
Yeah, he had loads of time getting through all the first 4 obstacles in 38 seconds. That's going to be your current top spot. We'll see if Harrison is able to conquer that time limit. Now, Harrison comes from SoFlo Ninja Academy. We've had some great athletes come out of SoFlo. An athlete we'll see a little bit later, Jorge Armaz, who I call the SoFlo kid. They've had some great efforts getting here. A lot of competitions under their belts. But SoFlo Ninja Academy, really great athletes coming out of that gym. And we're seeing it right now.
Yeah, what I love by Harrison already, he's truly just attacking this course. If you're just watching his body movements, the way he's progressing through each obstacle, there's a level of truly just, he's going after it with all that he has, kind of reckless abandon, so to speak. And so if he doesn't finish this, I actually would be a little surprised, but it's going to be tight.
Yeah, we're coming down to that last move. We're getting just under 10 seconds. He's linking that last lache. One more final move. Does he get it? We have our first clear of the day. First clear of the entire Premier Series Finals goes to Harrison Munoz. His ninja nickname is High Speed Harrison, and he absolutely put that on display for us here. Crushed that.
Yeah, he really did. He crushed it big time. And again, we're talking about him linking those moves. For those at home who might not understand what we're talking about, it means he's not taking extra swings. He does one big movement right into the next big movement, right into the next. And had he not done those, he would have timed out. So very aggressive move, but it was well worth it because he's our first finisher.
All right, we're going to move on to our next athlete here. Looking at the run order, the next couple of athletes, I'm really excited to see if we can best that result from High Speed Harrison. Harrison's result, a full clear. Let's go. But if there is a man that can challenge it, it is indeed Jamie Collins Jr. First place at Austin Ninjas. Trains out of True Momentum. Just get ready for this. You all have seen Jonathan Bainge compete. You have seen Kirsten Williams compete as well. They are fast. And look at this movement from Jamie.
Yeah, right now Jamie he's wasting no time at all. You know, that fight and attack that we were talking about just on the last run, he has that, but about by times 10. He's really leaving nothing on the table. Got a little stuck there, but he is flying.
I know, and even with those little hang-ups, he had more than 30 seconds when he got to this obstacle. I think that Harrison had 10 seconds left at this point, so I'm really hoping we see some links here from Jamie. It looks like he's taking it a little bit safer, but still gonna clear, hit that buzzer with a dive. 51-54 for the full clear. Tripping over my words. I'm trying to keep up with how fast Jamie did those obstacles.
Yeah, that really was so fast. For people at home, this sometimes it looks easy. Sometimes the better the ninja, the easier it looks. And what Jamie just did is pretty astounding. I mean, his speed, his aggressiveness. I mean, even just right down to that leaping for the buzzer finish, and it didn't even look like he was breathing that hard. So super huge accomplishment.
I don't know if he was breathing, period. I think he probably, less than a minute, he might have held his breath the whole time.
You know, that can happen.
All right. Well, the time to beat now is a full clear in 51.54 seconds. And Kaylin Kaminsky is coming up next. Kaylin comes from Steel City Ninja, everybody. Steel City, they know how to train some fast athletes over there. You can never count out a Steel City Ninja athlete. Likes to play video games when he's not doing ninja. Likes to go fishing. Also, casual stat here, can run a mile in 6 minutes and 33 seconds. The fastest I think they ever ran a mile was maybe 8 minutes. So this is a pretty speedy kid.
Yeah, I will say ninjas are known for a lot of things. Their distance running is not necessarily one of them. So very well-rounded athlete in Kaylin. So excited to see if he can put that type of cardio into this speed course and get another clear.
Yeah, we just saw a couple some more stats about Kaylin. He was third place in World's Strongest this previous season. He was also the Southeast Regional Champion. Now, Jamie, who just ran, is from the Southeast region. And what does this mean? This means that Kaylin has beaten Jamie at a competition before. Now, is it based off of speed? Oh, actually, I'm sorry, wrong region, because he's from Steel City. He is probably the Northeast Regional Champion. So, hasn't gone head-to-head with Jamie. I'll strike that one from the record, but champions versus champions here, guys. Champions versus champions. I'm excited for this round. Quick movement out of Kaylin through the steps. Oh, nice reaches there. All right, so not seeing quite as, big reach there. Not seeing quite as quick movement as we just saw from Jamie, but this is still not a run to sneer at.
Yeah, what I loved,
got 20, yeah.
What I loved watching Kaylin right there on that slider, he reached a little too early and almost didn't make it, but he kept with it. He trusted himself, he trusted his training, and he was able to make that grab right at the last moment and keep it going.
Speaking of the last moment, we are down to 5 seconds. Oh no! And Kalen went for it. Oh, he knew he was getting down on time. He absolutely like laid out to get that link. It didn't quite pan out for him, but you know, honestly, when I see the athletes go for it and commit to big moves like that, I feel almost more confident in them because I know they're willing to really throw some stuff that feels a little bit scary. And I think at this level of competition and the degree of difficulty they're going to face in the challenge course, I still really like that for them. I like that for Kalen. So I wouldn't count him out just based off of that last move there.
Yeah, that shows a lot of confidence in Kalen, in his abilities. So I'm excited to see what he turns in on the challenge course.
All right, our next athlete, one that I am pretty familiar with, this is going to be Jeremy Casella coming up. Now, Jeremy took 4th place here at Fair Rocks, but I will say Jeremy trains with Matt D'Amico at Jimja Warrior, and their motto, every course is a speed course. So we're not just going to see a fast run from him here, we're also going to see a very fast run from him in probably the challenge course. But speaking of a well-rounded athlete, he likes baseball. He also likes to do acro outside of ninja. And he likes to watch Bob Reese. Now, for those of you who don't know Bob Reese does some crazy things. He's had some crazy moves. So we'll see if Jeremy has anything exciting planned for us today.
The one thing I want to point out, Mary, as we saw on that last run, trying to go for that last move, but falling, a lot of people might think, oh, this is super dangerous. They're really high up in the air, and that is true, the height element and whatnot. But if you look at Ferox, they have mats all over the place. Safety is a huge thing for them, and it really helps these ninjas just go all out, just like Jeremy is right now. He is crushing this course.
Yeah, a little bit behind Jamie's pace right now. I think Jamie had about 35 seconds when he got here, but what I'm seeing out of Jeremy right now is that he's not hesitating on any of these moves, getting through those first couple of moves a little bit quicker than Jamie did. Love that little launch up. Now he is using the sidebars, but using them quickly. He's going to need to link these last couple of moves if he wants to get that buzzer. And I think
Did he get it?
Just in time. Oh no, looks like he might have knocked his leg on something. But he did get the clear. Super fast run out of Jeremy. I really, really like the commitment I saw to every move, especially that little 90-degree lache from those sidebars. I don't think going to those sidebars is the right move for that lane, but if you're gonna do it the way Jeremy did it. That's the fastest I've seen anybody get through that.
Yeah, he really did a phenomenal job, and I really loved his methodology of going from those side rails, getting back into the middle, kind of like a little backwards hop with a quarter turn, setting him up well.
All right, this is Samuel Corbière. He is coming to us from the Life Force competition. He took 2nd place there. Again, lots of interesting moves in that Life Force comp. Lots of moves over and over. All right, now Samuel is taking a little bit more time on these laches than I might like to see, but still pushing through, figuring out his swing to hit that trampoline. Oh no! Was just a little off axis and falls to the side.
Yeah, he did rush that a little bit. I think he felt the time clock running down and got a little pressured by that, and unfortunately didn't set himself up quite right. Going down to that globe, he really wanted to reach out to that from the bar prior, which really just made him have to get straight, get some momentum, and then he wound up rushing it a little and fell.
All right, well, we have Aiden Ayers coming to us from the Warrior Factory, Syracuse. Now, we saw his teammates Elise and Gabby in the kids' female division have some really strong performances. Gabby getting second place overall. Trains with Julia McConnell and Jay Lewis, who we'll see compete later. And these moves are looking pretty good so far. A little hesitation going to that trampoline. Now, Aiden actually took third place here at Ferox earlier in the season. Oh, little hesitation, reaching for that trapeze bar. There it is.
What I like seeing from Aiden is a really strong ninja trait of maybe sometimes in the middle of an obstacle you have to change up your technique or give it another go. Maybe you weren't expecting to miss a grab or whatever, but staying calm and collected and he came down.
Oh, I wonder if his time just ended there or if he just knew he didn't have enough left to get through those movements. But still a strong performance from Aiden. I'll give him that he still hit every move. There was a little bit of hesitation, but we've definitely seen some other athletes. His teammate Elise kind of had to shake off the nerves their first run. So, and honestly, he's not that far down, kind of middle of the pack right now as far as placement goes. But that's not a bad place to be. Mr. Eli Acosta, second place at Austin Ninjas. That is indeed where he found his spot. He trains at Move Sport. We'll see Coach Jonathan Bain, another athlete we'll actually get to see competing in the elite division here today.
I think what I like seeing from some of these athletes on those first set of rings, when they don't even get any swing, but they just kind of muscle through them, because that actually saves a little bit of time. And again, on this speed course, time is truly of the essence. And so for those who are going the fastest, even swings there slow you down a little bit. But right now, Eli is doing a great job. Hopefully he can finish his course.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him gibboning, and for those of you who aren't sure what gibboning is, it's essentially fast monkey bars, where you're leaving a little bit of air between you and the bars each move, but it's a quicker way to get through them. And Eli getting down on time. Not quite enough time left to finish the course, but again, I think being able to see what these athletes are capable of committing to and their confidence, I think that's going to be really great for them going into the challenge course. I think when we got to this point, as we were getting through the female athletes, there were some clear standouts, and there's definitely very quick athletes here, but everybody else is really close behind him. Look at this. You got Eli and Kaylin separated by less than half a second here, or just over half a second in their time. So 4 runners left, and man, it's been exciting all the way through.
Yeah, all I know is these males are fast, and I'm sure these last 4 are going to show us some pretty great things too. So,
all right, here is your first place Ferox qualifier athlete. This is Tanner McKenna. Oh, did he? Okay, looks like he's still good. Looks like he stepped off to the side a little bit there, but looks like he was still inbound, so that is good. So Tanner has already conquered a course here in this competition format. And we saw there was one obstacle that we saw in his highlight reel. It was, I believe they called it tire run, and it was some straightforward flywheels, super technical, really tough, and he was able to get through that. We've got 20 seconds left on the clock. Some of these athletes really struggling with that first ring move. I don't think they're getting quite as much swing as they need. Great work out of Tanner. He knows he's got to go for this and link it through the end. Throws it. Oh, just not quite enough in the tank to make that Lachey out. Looks like his hips weren't quite far enough back.
Yeah, but still, Tanner did a really good job. I think he needs to be proud of that run. I know he wanted to finish, but, again, this is a placement round. It's not the end of the competition. So what's good about this is it's giving these ninjas an opportunity to try to get a better placement for the challenge course, but they also get to get those nerves out. They're getting that out of their system so that they can really dial in for the challenge course and really bring their A game.
Yeah, and again, looking at the times are so close, right? You can't really say that amongst those athletes, I mean, objectively, you can say one is better than the other or had a better result than the other, but those times are so incredibly close. Really, I think just the clears are kind of your standouts, but it's anybody's game still. And here is Bentley Boyd. This is several people's favorites to win this competition. I saw some people shouting him out in the pregame show last night. Bentley Boyd, top ranking in athlete stats overall. He was first place in the motive competition. Motive, some technical obstacles in their challenge course. Oh, skipping over those steps right there.
What I like from Bentley so far, he looks very methodical. Like every movement, every placement is on purpose. Like he's thought it through, and it just shows his confidence in his abilities. And he's only got 5 seconds. We'll see if he can finish it.
Get to that buzzer, Bentley. Oh, man, it's a buzzer for Bentley Boyd. 58 seconds. He did not leave too much room for error there, but like you said, really great execution, very methodical, plotted out his moves and executed them exactly. Had a couple of backswings, a couple misses, but, was able to overcome that. Great execution from Bentley. I'm very excited to see him on the challenge course.
Well, and a lot of people who haven't done Ninja don't quite understand when you make it through a course, it doesn't matter if it's a speed course or a super long muscular endurance course, when you hit that buzzer, it's such a great feeling. You might not have the fastest time, but to clear the course is such a great feeling. So great job right there.
Yeah, definitely extra motivation and extra confidence. Wow, I just got to look at Bentley and Jeremy Casella's time. I think it was 0.2 seconds that separated them. That's insane. So close, this competition. All right, we're getting down to our final couple of runners here in the placement course. And up right now is Reese Chaplin, another Northeast athlete, New England athlete. Had the pleasure of seeing compete several times. Now he's from TA Fitness Plymouth. We've had, oh no! Uh-oh. All right, hopefully Reese is okay. Looks like he may have tripped on that trampoline.
Yeah, sometimes he was going really fast, so you're not stopping on that trampoline, but trying to go immediate. And I think his body was not quite ready for the impact to absorb that bounce quite right. And from my angle, I couldn't quite see if he was a little twisted when he did that. I'm not sure, if that hurt himself while he did that, but hopefully he'll be okay.
Yeah, it's always tough to see, especially leading up to that point in his run. He really was executing well. That was some good links. He was moving with confidence. Even what just happened, he was going on the first swing. So he might not have had those feet perfectly lined up, but he was showing a lot of aggression. Now, what's great is that there's no cuts going into the challenge course. So we are going to get to see Reese compete again. And, hopefully the challenge course, there's not as much of a time crunch on it. You still need to be efficient. You still need to execute the moves, but it's more about your technique. And with a coach like Lucas Reale, you know that he's going to have Some really great technique up his sleeve to throw out there. So
Yeah,
still looking forward to
definitely.
him. Yeah.
One thing too, especially I hope he's not seriously injured, but at least when he comes to some of these later courses, they're pretty much upper body courses, and
Mm-hmm.
so I unfortunately from firsthand experience know what it is to injure a foot or a leg or whatever, but still be okay for the next course because it is upper body versus you're requiring much of my legs.
Yeah, I think the first obstacle is really the only one they have to worry about for lower body. So we will see Reese. And before we get to see that, though, we have one more runner who is going to be tackling the course, and that is going to be Jorge Armaz. This is the SoFlo kid. I dubbed Jorge that after watching him compete in, I think, 3 different qualifiers this season. This kid did not give up on getting his qualification spot. He fought so hard for this, and he has absolutely earned his spot here. Finally was able to punch his ticket at Austin. That was a nail biter of a competition for me. I was just rooting for this kid so much. And he is speedy, blazing through those steps. His ninja influences are Kai Beckstrain and Jay Lewis, so just some casual speedsters right there. Oh wow, and
Oh,
oh no! That is a bummer for the SoFlo kid, for Jorge. Now, he was being pretty aggressive. He wanted to skip that bowl, right? I think he knew that takes up a little bit of time, but I think he just came down onto that trampoline so hard that he didn't have enough time to absorb and bounce off of it, and that unfortunately shot him forward.
yeah, sometimes, especially if it's a new trampoline that you're not used to, they can feel different than you expect. And even some longtime ninja friends of mine have had issues with mini tramps in the middle of a big course run. And you think you know how it's going to react, but before you know it, you're down and your run is over. And he was so aggressive. I think he was the first one to skip that glow. He didn't even go
Yeah.
down. He went straight to that tramp, but it did wind up costing him a little bit because he wasn't quite in the right position to land on that trampoline.
Well, what a phenomenal placement course out of all of our athletes. Let's take a look at our first clear of the day. That was Harrison, high speed Harrison. Ran a little bit earlier on in the competition, threw down a super fast time of 57 seconds at 0.12. Now, I will highlight, take a look at those results. Of all of our finishers, the difference between them is less than a second, right? So when we're talking about the comparison of skill here, Harrison edged it out just a little bit quicker than our other 2 athletes, had some great moves, but there is not a lot separating them all right now. So it's going to be a really exciting challenge course. The one athlete that differentiated themselves from the rest of the field, Jamie Collins Jr., 6 whole seconds faster than the rest of the field, and not really a ton of places where you can make up 6 seconds. And I gotta say, this was even with some missteps going into the final obstacle. There were 2 points that he took some extra backswing. So if he had perfectly executed that, that probably would have been a margin of more like 9 to 10 seconds. So really phenomenal effort out of Jamie.
Yeah,
Travis, who are some of your favorites today?
well, you were just talking about Jamie. I mean, he really was so impressive because, like you said, he did have some extra swings and some extra moves here and there, and still finished with over 8 seconds left. 6 seconds faster than second place. So that was super, super impressive. But really, so far, everybody is really impressing me. And I know some of the competitors maybe haven't gone quite as far as they wanted to go, but again, this is like we've been saying all along. This is just a placement course. I think that they're going to regroup and be even more ready for the challenge course, and I think we're going to see a really heated competition on this challenge stage.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like 5th through 7th place, right? You have Eli, Kaylin, and Tanner, 34 seconds, 34 seconds, 36 seconds. You know, the time limit on this is a minute. So by the time they cleared the first obstacle, they still had plenty of time to get that clear. Just a couple of technical errors that, you know, they missed, a couple of them laying out for that final thing, but it's definitely going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing too for the viewers at home to understand, again, this placement course was really all about speed. Definitely needing to be technical, but now the game is changing into the challenge course because time is still of the essence, but you have upper body obstacle after upper body obstacle, and so it really can play to different ninjas' strengths. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and speaking of upper body obstacles and completing them in a fast time and getting that buzzer, we've got NinjaWorks, the ultimate in ninja timing systems. They are one of our sponsors for the Premier Series. We're just super grateful for them for not only being a sponsor, but just having a phenomenal product. I know that judging a ninja competition, it is stressful enough as it is, making sure you're watching everybody's hands and feet and where they're landing. But NinjaWorks takes the stress out of making sure you have the accurate time. So thank you, NinjaWorks, for your amazing product. And then we're going to take a look at our Slap Chucks ad here. That is another one of our sponsors.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my chalk bag? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slap chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slap trucks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, rock climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
I know I have some kids at the gym that use Slap Chalks. We were just talking about upper body obstacles a little bit earlier. And what is the king of upper body obstacles? We got to give that to DGS Ninja. Just anytime there's an innovation from a ninja, they've got partnerships with them to get those obstacles shipped out. Travis, you had some great thoughts about DGS Ninja in our last stream. Why don't you go ahead and share those with the folks back home?
Yeah, they're quality obstacles, and when you're doing this stuff, you want something that is going to last. It's going to stand the test of time. It's not going to break, because clearly you're wanting every movement to be made with confidence, and you don't want to have to be thinking about, oh, is this obstacle going to hold up? And so they're really quality company, and again, you never know what types of crazy things ninjas are going to do, and sometimes they may use an obstacle in a way it was not intended. So, even going above and beyond, making sure it's strong and of good quality, that's what they do. They do a great job.
Yeah, we're very excited to have them as a sponsor. You see right here, Addie Herman is one of their sponsored athletes. We also have another athlete who is going to be competing in our elite division tomorrow, and that is Electric Enzo. I'm sure many of you know Enzo. He runs an organization called Ocean Needs Everyone, and we're going to take a quick minute to hear from him about his organization.
Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, CO and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Thank you so much to our sponsors for the Premier Series. Now, let's take a look at our voted most likely to succeed based on their placement course. We've got Jamie, Harrison, and Bentley. So the difference in time between Harrison and Bentley was really not that much. I think it was less than a second. Jamie Collins Jr., again, we mentioned this earlier, really the one that set himself apart time-wise. I think that for Jamie, I think we saw this kind of same advantage that Mia had in the kids' female division. Not only is he capable of getting very fast to a particular point, but he's going to have that advantage of being the last runner and knowing exactly what he needs to do in order to take that top spot. Now, Bentley overall, power ranking of 3, as opposed to Jamie's number 6. So that could mean, more competitions on Bentley's part, or maybe just higher placements overall for Bentley. But both of them coming out of gyms where there's a lot of competition and some really great coaches, Austin Ninja's Motive School of Movement. But you can't leave out Harrison. You really can't. High Speed Harrison absolutely crushed it. He had a faster time than Bentley. With knowing the technicalness that we are about to face here, I don't know if I have a pick here. I think I give the advantage to Jamie just based on where he is in the run order and his overall speed. Travis, what are your thoughts?
It's gonna be a great competition. All 3 of these guys, I think, could take it. So it's really gonna come down to strategy. There's a long course that gets you pretty tired. So, it's gonna come down to each individual ninja, whether or not they are going to just go as fast as possible, just like in the placement round, or are they going to go a little slower, kind of, size up each obstacle, not go too slow, but because you do want to conserve some of that energy because you will need that strength as you make your way through the course. So, Jamie does have the most advantageous spot because he's last. He gets to watch everybody go before him, see what works, what doesn't work. But there is a little extra pressure knowing he's last. Everyone's going to be watching him. But something tells me Jamie is one who enjoys the spotlight. So he's probably going to thrive even more. So it's going to be an exciting time.
Yeah, I'm just really excited, I think, to see these 3 athletes go head to head. But I bet we don't know, right? So in the kids female division, AJ was in second place going into the challenge course, and she ended up only being top 5, right? And we had some other athletes who were in 4th place, 5th place, really climb up the ranks and kind of take some of those top spots. And especially seeing how close all of these times are and how confidently the entire field moved through. We could be looking at our top 3, but I don't think it's going to play out like this in the challenge course. So very excited to see that. And we're going to get to those runs pretty soon here.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see some incredible performances from some of the other ninjas to not just these top 3 from the placement round. So that's the neat thing. You just never know. Even if you're first up, again, you don't have that psychological component of having seen other people do it, but you get to set the tone. And just because you are the first one, you can still go through, you can still clear the course. So it's going to be exciting to see them.
Yeah, and up first is going to be Blake Artis. And Blake was actually one of the athletes that we highlighted as one to watch. He is sponsored by Studio Dre. He is our international athlete in this age division, coming to us from Australia. Now, we mentioned the difference between the Australia course styles and the United States. Much more grip gauntlets, but the athletes that had a good amount of hang time did pretty well in the female division on the challenge course. So Blake did not quite have the run he was looking for in the placement, but we saw before that some of our other female athletes held on to a top spot for quite a while. So we'll see how Blake does. He's already on to the second obstacle.
Yeah, and one thing, Mary, that I highlighted with our female division, because this is such an upper body intensive course, again, you need to conserve as much energy as possible. And so some of these extra swings that we're seeing right now from Blake, he really needs to try to cut down on those because he's gonna need that strength. Oh, see, already fell there, but he does get one retry per obstacle. total of two tries. But he needs to be a little bit more energy efficient if he wants to go deep into this course.
You're absolutely right, and I'm really hoping that he gains a little bit more confidence. Now, I don't know if they have fidget spinners in Australia. I think they do. I think I've seen a few on a couple of their training things. Great grab out of Blake, dialing it in that time, but he has now been on the course for a full minute, only 2 obstacles in. We'll see what he's got left for the rest of this course. Time to go with a little switch grip action. Needs a lot of height, not quite enough height.
Yeah, you were talking about the switch grip, and since that bar can move and can fall off, you really do need to grab it with your grip switched, because otherwise, most likely your fingers will just peel off that bar. But to do that with your undergrip, it has to be even faster. Oh, he got it there. But that's a hard move to do. You need to be super quick with whatever hand is going underneath, and Blake did it well right there. Good job.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Blake, he doesn't have any retries left, and he is one of our smaller athletes in this division, and we did see that be a bit of a challenge for some of our female athletes going into this tricky move here. Not quite this one, but you'll see it soon. It's that 5th skyhook, but we got to get there first before we can see it. Now he's not going to be able to drop, because if he drops, his run is over.
And right now, Blake's hands, his grip strength has got to be getting pretty taxed. So he's showing tremendous effort, but his strength has got to be waning. So hopefully he can make it through this obstacle, but it's going to be a challenge.
Yep, and we're seeing what we saw for a lot of the female athletes here. They just weren't able to get that hook on there. He's got it. Oh man, that was great. Great movement out of Blake. Just needs to get the clear here. Get to that dismount. Oh, okay, it looks like truss is in play, so he is good. Now on to what was the crux point for our female division here, the slogies. Now, when you see boxes with grips, those are often called bogies, and there are now some sloper holds, those sort of half circles that the athletes have to grab onto. Hence the name slogies. Oh, and it looks like Blake just didn't have anything left in the tank for that reach. He spent a lot of time hanging, a lot of time on those hands, but a really great effort from our international athlete here today.
Yeah, I think Blake did a really great job, and one thing I liked seeing is him take a few seconds before the slogies, because he was clearly tired, and some ninjas might rush right into that because they know the clock is ticking away. But if you're super tired, you really do need to kind of collect yourself, at least just for a moment, maybe shake out, and he did that for just a few seconds. Unfortunately, he was too worn out, but that was a smart move, I think, by him.
Absolutely. Now we're going to take a look at Samuel Corbière. He is coming to us from that Life Force competition where I mentioned they just had lots of interesting moves, had to execute from one right to the other. Now Samuel is coming to us from Canada. So another international athlete here showing us what he's got. And you're seeing the hand placement here on fidget spinners sometimes a little tough, because when one shoulder is more forward, your swing can get a little wonky. But Sam is able to get through that. Oh, and going for the skip. It's a clear. That's the first little beta break that we have seen from the athletes.
Yeah, that was really impressive by Samuel. He really knew what his capabilities were. Looks like he's even trying for another one right now. It's a risky move, but it paid off for him. You got to watch out that you don't bonk your head sometimes when you go for a skip like that. But he's been pretty inventive so far.
Absolutely, and look like he's not Not too sure about taking that ring off, but he's got it. Moving through this pretty methodically, but I understand it. Some of those hooks are not super steady or stable feeling with the ring on the edge right there. So Sam hasn't used any retries yet coming into the slogies so far. Doesn't look like he's too sure of his grip. I think he's going to go to that cliff first. Now what that tells me is that sloper grip's not super steady for him. So hopefully he can figure out how to maybe use, we saw some other athletes in the kids female division use just the cliffhangers. So maybe we'll see Sam take that approach there, getting some final pointers from his coach. It is do or die for Sam right now. He has used a retry on this obstacle.
And this is where it gets really tough because he's used his retry. He knows that he has to make it, otherwise his run is done. So we'll see how deep he can dig here. Hopefully he can make it. I'm guessing he's getting tired, especially those slopers are super hard. And this,
oh wow,
yeah, this finish is really challenging. We'll see.
I mean, you saw him shake his head as he went to that second to last move right there. I think he kind of knew that might have been it for him, but still a phenomenal effort out of Sam. We were very, very excited to see how far he got through, and taking that first skip. You know, if the athletes know it's there, I don't think we're going to see anybody going to that free bar anymore. I would put money on it that the rest of the field is likely going to skip that move.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Mary. I think he was so creative, not only on that, but even on some of his steps on the skyhook. So it'll be really interesting to see what the next ninjas do, if they follow that and maybe even take it up a notch.
All right, and here's Reese Chaplin. Now, Reese had a bit of a funky end to his last run. Oh, no! And again, hitting, I think, the same shin. He had a bit of a fall on his placement course run, and it looked like he injured his shin, and it looks like the same thing happened on those boxes. Okay, and was that... Oh, he does have his retry, so he's moving on. That's good. All right, took a second to recompose himself.
The one thing I love about watching these ninja athletes, even the younger ones like this, is their level of fight. And you know that he's got to be uncomfortable right now. He's probably in a bunch of pain, but he's just shaking that off, and he is continuing to focus on crushing this course. And so far, he's doing great after that first stumble.
Yeah, linked every movement. You know, he got through those fidget spinners really efficiently. He did not skip that free bar, but he linked right through it. That shows a lot of confidence to link into a switch grip move. Love to see that from Reese, and getting very easily through the skyhooks here. Now, his coach, Lucas Reale, has coached this obstacle before with Mila, so he's already got a strategy for it. Oh, wow. Reese is looking super comfortable right now. Nice and locked off. Now, this is the move that gave our female athletes a little bit of trouble. This final move right here. Looks like Reese is going... Oh, not sure what he's going for here. Oh, went for the Lachey and it panned out for him. Just got to get that dismount. Nice.
Yeah, that was an excellent job by Reese. I thought he might slip off on that last hold, especially when he had to take a couple extra swings before the dismount, but he kept going, and he is doing great so far on board drop.
Yeah, and the placement of that ring in between the boards is just so smart, because you might expect some athletes to skip more forward on the board, but the ring is just so perfectly placed that they kind of almost have to grab right where it is. Now, here is some of these bigger movements that we were talking about. This is a slider move. down into a flying bar. The athletes have to go super high up. Wow. Wow. That's a cool obstacle. That is such a cool obstacle.
Yeah, Reese is doing so well, further than our females made it. So these are all first time seen so far today in the finals. So he's doing a great job.
Now the hexagon boards are an obstacle that has just really kind of burst onto the scene within the last year or so. There was definitely a much more tricky configuration to them in the last Ferox competition. But Reese is easily getting through it now. We're getting close on time. He's only got about 15 seconds left for this final obstacle. He's going to have to go lots of moves to this final obstacle here. You can see his coach, Lucas, yelling at him, telling him that he's got to go. And he went for it, laid out. But man, coming back from the disappointment of the placement course, having a tough start to his run. What a great fight out of Reese today.
Yeah, he really has to be so proud of that, especially having that kind of mistake at the beginning. I don't know if that was from the injury that happened in the placement round or just something additional, but to come back from something like that mentally, that is a huge strength, and he did a phenomenal job.
All right, next up, we've got the SoFlo kid, Jorge. Now, I hyped him up right before his placement run. Placement run did not go to plan, but we saw the speed that Jorge was moving. He went for a skip early on. The risk didn't pan out, but I still find risks taken in the placement course to be an auspicious for athletes runs in the challenge course. It just means that they have a high level of trust in themselves, which you're gonna need for this challenge course. So here comes Jorge Armaz, the SoFlo kid.
Look at the camera view, I look at it from my perspective, so it's different.
All right, and we're looking really strong so far. Quickly through that first obstacle. Links all the way through. All right, he went for a skip in his last run. Is he going to go for the skip or just some links here? Just some easy moves through that bar.
And I think, Mary, that brings up a good point of when to be ultra aggressive and when to just be smart, because sure, you can save a couple seconds if you skipped that bar, but if you wound up going a little short and had to use a retry, it's definitely not worth it. So if you know you've got it in your wheelhouse, really confident, that's one thing, but if there's a risk to it that you just know you don't know if you're going to do it, it's smarter to just do it as it's supposed to be done. Don't get disqualified on that or use a retry, and keep moving.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that the athletes are going to have to kind of weigh out as they're going through, right? What can they just get through easily, still have enough time for the rest of the course, and maybe hopefully not need to use them, but save those retries for a trickier technical obstacle. Now, things are looking good to get a full clear here. Reese being, earlier on in the run order, getting to the last obstacle, especially after having a bit of an upset where he did take a little time to kind of compose himself at the beginning. We should see some clears here today, so, there might be just a little bit more strategy here for our later athletes, as opposed to just getting to a point fast like we saw on the female side of things. Oh, man. The slogies are striking again. One of the issues we saw for our shorter athletes is that move from the second to last hold to the final hold is tough. It's tough to static it. Looks like Jorge just slipped off. What does the SoFlo kid have left in the tank?
Yeah, at this point, his grip strength is most likely getting pretty tired, and his forearms are most likely burning. But this is where these kids really dig deep and really impress me, because they don't want to quit. They don't want to give up. Oh, he just didn't have it.
Oh man. And what I saw there, you saw Jorge go for a lache to that first tee ledge. And I think that might have been kind of a last ditch attempt. You know, really trusting his throw ability there to kind of reduce the amount of moves he had. I think he was getting pretty pumped. Here's this huge skip right here. I'm wondering if we'll see a couple. We might see some other athletes do it. I don't know if that's a risk that we want to see too many of them take, because you know, it is a risky move. If you're confident enough in your grip strength at that point, you know, you don't want to risk that. But yeah, we might see a couple throw it to try to be a little bit faster.
Yeah, and when it comes down to the last competitors, you know, again, their advantage is they know who has gone the furthest, the fastest, so they can then make those calculated decisions. Should I take a little more risk and go for it to be a little quicker and try to beat the people in front of me, or just clear? So it gives them the advantage of making that choice. So this is Graham. He is doing great so far. I'd like to see him a little bit more aggressive, not taking so many swings right here. Because again, the more you do that, it takes away your strength and your energy that is most definitely needed later on in this course. As we've seen from the slogies already, and then beyond, there's so much grip and finger strength required. So even a few extra swings here and there. Oh, and Graham fell there. Hopefully that bar did not hit him. He needed a little bit more swing to get that mixed grip. Again, that's why it's so challenging. To get that under grip, you need to have enough height, enough momentum, and enough quickness with your grab as well. He's coming up to sky hooks. Let's see how he does. He's about average, I would say, as far as height compared to others in this age group. So I think he should have a fair time making it through this. A little trouble here. What I like from Graham so far, he seems very calm. And when you're in the middle of an obstacle, especially if it's going a little different than you thought, or you're missing a hold or missing a placement or whatever, is staying calm and relaxed, not panicking, just continuing to breathe. It looks like that is kind of how he's running his course, so that's pretty impressive, but I'm thinking he's getting a little tired here. So we'll see how this goes, but Graham's showing a little bit of fatigue. Yeah, he's getting tired. I would hope that he'd take just a few moments to kind of shake out, rest. But this is going to be a pretty big challenge, I think, for Graham. But again, he got here for a reason. So he's put in training. He's put in a lot of work. So hopefully he can overcome this right now. He's struggling, but okay, he got that. Now, that sloper hold, for those who've never done it, oh, he just couldn't hold on. That was a great job by Graham. You could tell he was getting gassed, he was getting fatigued. You know, I was saying that sloper hold is super hard. It's the half globe looking hold that it just really doesn't give you a lot to hold on to, and his grip strength was just fatigued to the max. But great job by Graham.
Yeah, definitely a tough hold to really grasp with any sort of, I'll say, any sort of meaning. It's really tough to put your full weight on it, but great effort out of Graham. And coming up next, speaking of next, it is Shane Young from Next Level. We talked about some of his links based on where he trains and who his coaches are. Abby Clark and Joe Capo. Stumbling a little bit up there, but he's dialing it in now. Oh, great build. Great links. There it is.
Again, I think I said it perhaps during our female broadcast, but when a ninja makes an obstacle or a course look effortless, you're looking at a pretty good ninja, because this stuff really is not easy, but when somebody makes it look very simple, you know that they know what they're doing. They put in the training, and that's definitely what Shane has done.
Struggling a little bit here to get those moves, but now that he's spoke a little too soon. Seemed like he was locked in. Switching that hand around, really keeping an eye on that ring. That's smart. Doesn't want it to pop off as he makes his last move. And he's through.
One thing I've noticed so far, Mary, is similar to our females, this Slogies obstacle really is kind of the killer so far. We've only had one.
Yeah.
We only had one female clear this, and so far we've only had one male, and he made it all the way to the 8th obstacle. So huge difference between first place right now with 8 obstacles, and then there's everyone else at the 4th obstacle. So it's still, this is kind of the obstacle that needs to be conquered if you want to place well.
Yeah, I think Reese kind of lured us into a false sense of security here, getting through it so easily. Now, one advantage I will say, a lot of these athletes have aged up into the mature kids division, where the courses definitely get a little bit more difficult, and so they haven't had quite a full season in that tougher division, but, they've had a good couple of months of competition here. Oh, and a tough break for Shane. Getting some high fives from his coach, Joe. Saw some great movement out of him. Look at these links right here. Definitely a lot more ninja in this young athlete's future.
Yeah, he did a great job. It looked like he even had some of those slap chalks shorts. Could have used those had he made it a little further, get some chalk in the middle of an obstacle, but great job.
Yeah, and you were mentioning this earlier. Reese crushing it with 8 obstacles. Next below him is only 4 obstacles completed. Now, we're getting a little bit closer to our kind of grouping of athletes who had some really phenomenal results. I think I mentioned that through 7th place, kind of really anybody's game, and we're creeping up to that point. But first, we're going to see Aiden Ayers coming to us from Warrior Factory, Syracuse. Again, this young man is being coached by Jay Lewis right now, an elite athlete that not only won here, but is also going to be competing here tomorrow. So that they're really talking this through, have some great strategies in mind. Great set of the hips. A little bit of a hesitation there, linking that final move, but linking the dismount. Okay, there it is. Bar popped off a bit, but that's fine because he is all good to move on to the next one. Nice reach. Almost had a little too much momentum going into that transition, but really great stabilization here. I think what I want to see on this obstacle as far as efficiency is the athletes kind of not waiting for that ring to drop down once they make that transition. We saw a few athletes with the confidence for that, but that is just something, it's only going to be the difference of a second or two, but getting on later into the course, you want every second you can get to not be on your hands as you're hitting kind of those tougher transitions.
Right here, Aiden's doing great. He looks like
Yeah.
he definitely has what it takes. Hopefully, nice. He's going to clear this obstacle. That's awesome.
Great work out of Aiden. Now we're moving on to this tough board drop obstacle. Aiden is one of our smaller competitors, and so he might have to make a couple more moves on this board.
So again, he just went through a very intensive grip exercise or grip obstacle, and now he's doing these boards, which are it's all finger strength. And so he's definitely feeling it right now, but this is where he really has to dig deep to keep going to be able to finish this course.
Yeah, and he's slowing down a little bit on this obstacle. The movement's not being quite as efficient as maybe I'd like to see, but it looks like he's going to get the clear here. This is not a fun dismount, let me tell you. That is... There's nothing quite like having your feet up and a sketchy grip behind you. That's for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't really even look like it, but one time I pulled a hamstring from a dismount like that.
Oh, no. All right, and this is a fun move right here. Up to that ring. Now, we talked about in our pre-show here about kind of the fear factor of being so high up off the ground. And I think these last couple of obstacles really kind of show it, especially having that whole structure behind you whipping around as you're trying to build up a backswing.
Yeah, that's definitely that's definitely an aspect that they have to go through. I will say, as you go further into a course, especially when you're starting to get pretty mentally drained, physically drained, you get so dialed in. Sometimes you can almost just zone all of that out, even if you're 30 feet up. But again, some of these kids, they're even smaller, so it's a bigger thing. But Aiden's just turning in a great performance right here.
All right, and did he get the clear? Oh no, it looked like he peeled off of that ring right before he could get the clear. So I think that's going to be 7 obstacles for him in a time of, it looked like 2:53. That was a great effort out of Aiden.
What I loved from Aiden, almost everything he was doing, it looked like he was floating. It was very effortless, very, again, in control. It looked like he was kind of, he knew exactly what he was trying to do every time, and just made it look really, really, really good.
Yeah, he never looked worried on the course, right? There was never any point in time where he looked like he was fazed by what was happening. Even after failing a couple of times, he just pulled himself right back up. With that, he's going to move himself into second place, completing 7 obstacles in a time of 2:51. I do think he's going to get bumped out of that top spot, but it's been an unpredictable day so far, so we'll have to see how our other athletes do. But I do think we're going to get a couple of clears out of these athletes today. So great run from Aiden. We will see how that holds up. All right, and our next athlete is going to be popping up soon. Coming to the starting platform, we have Tyler Bowers. Tyler's coming to us out of Portland, Oregon. Skyhook Ninjas being his home gym. And he is cruising right now. Setting those links, looking pretty effortless. Now, Tyler was one of those athletes who was getting really, really close in those times, right? Didn't quite have enough to finish the placement course, but his time was really solid getting to that final obstacle. And we're seeing some of that efficiency here.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, Mary, when I'm watching Tyler right now, he seems to have a little bit more urgency in his run than others that we've seen so far. I think as we go further into the competition, getting closer to the end, these competitors are starting to see, okay, this is where I'm going to have to go to in such and such a time to place or to win. And so, you're going to start seeing some of these competitors feel almost forced to go a little quicker, and I think that's what Tyler's doing. And sometimes it can come back to bite you a little bit, but so far Tyler's doing an excellent job with this.
Yeah, and enough energy and a good reach to make that static. I think the first athlete we've seen make that static here. 2 minutes left on the clock to get through these last 4 obstacles.
Yeah, I think he is the first one to static that. And again, when we're talking about staticking a move, basically we're just talking about no flight to that hold. So, you're holding on to the original hold, and then with one hand you're grabbing onto the second. You've got both hands on first, and then the second, and then you match your original hand onto the other hold, and that's what we're talking about with static. That shows just excellent control and strength if you can do that.
So Tyler is about to clear the 6th obstacle board drop. He's only got 3 left, and he's got 1.5 minutes on the clock. So that's about 30 seconds per obstacle, and definitely not all of those obstacles take all of that amount of time. But hopefully we get to see that final obstacle, which only Reese has gotten to so far. At this point, Tyler might be getting a little bit tired. But up through that onto little ledges.
You see what he's doing right now. It's a very smart move, very pro move. He might feel pressed to go because of the clock, but instead he's like, I need some chalk. Hey, coach, come up, help me out. And it gives him a couple seconds to breathe, too, to kind of collect himself and hopefully make it through this obstacle.
Now we saw him have some great static moves on the slogies. That fingertip strength, clearly something that's looking pretty easy for him, not even using the larger cliffhanger on the opposite side. Easily down to that. Now he only has 20 seconds. That's about what Reese had at this point. He's really going to have to move super efficiently. We've got our fisheye view here. All right, here is a special delivery grab that swings all the way around. Oh no, and this is not good. He is stuck in no man's land right now. You've really, speaking to that commitment, you have got to be ready to pop off of that move as soon as you get around. Otherwise, what just happened to Tyler is going to happen to you. But a great run, getting all the way to the end, having a little bit more time, I think, than Reese did to make it through there.
Yeah, Tyler did an excellent job. You were right, on that very last obstacle, you've got to be ready for that last grab to that ring, because if you miss it that first time, you're pretty much going to be stuck in no man's land. No real way to get momentum back to it. So again, that his mistake there is going to benefit the other ninjas who are still yet to come. So we'll see if they get there, if they're going to make that same mistake or not. But he that was great. He was so strong.
All right, and we are down to our last 7 runners here. So remember, our top 4 athletes cleared the course, and our other 3 that came in right behind them, super close on time. So this is where we're going to start to amp up the energy here in the commentators booth. We're going to hear the crowd amping up too. They're ready for a finisher. We've gotten pretty close, but they're also ready for a World Ninja League Premier Series champ to be crowned. So stepping up to see if he can do that is Tanner. Tanner, coming to us from Steel City, has quite the resume. Now, he was first place here. Didn't have the run that he wanted during the placement course, but if you'll remember, Tanner laid out for a Link to Lachey. So he really went for it first try. We were just talking about the end of the course, how you really have to go for it on your first swing. I think Tanner will be in a good position to do that if he gets to that point.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Tyler does because even though he did well in the placement course, you could tell he was a little frustrated. He wanted more. And so a competitor like that, I get excited when they get their next chance because he's talking and thinking about redemption here. So I'm expecting a pretty good run.
Well, Tanner is known as the Tanner Tot in his home gym. So let's see what the Tanner Tot has. Jumping around a little bit, but making it to that next obstacle. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
One hand. Okay, all right. All right, Tanner Tot. I see you.
I don't think he meant to do it like that, but again, that's where preparation comes into play because he had the grip strength required to make that. Maybe that was his strategy, but I'm thinking that might have been just an ad lib thing, but he had the grip strength and just making easy
That
work.
is so smooth through the sky hooks that you could tell he knew exactly where he wanted to place every ring, and he wanted to do every move one right after the other. That's what I love about the Steel City athletes is they know the moves they're making and they commit to them, just like Tanner is right now. Oh wow, I was not sure if he was going to have that, but thankfully he did. Whew.
And that was a close call on that landing platform. He threw that, probably should have taken another swing before going for that, because that could have been an easy fail and have to use a retry. But yeah, he made it. That was gutsy, but good job.
Yeah, lots of gutsy moves from Tanner here today, and he has 2 minutes left to get through this obstacle right here. Now, we just saw Tyler have about a minute 30 once he got off of this obstacle. So I think we'll see Tanner come in with something similar. Maybe have about 10 more seconds on the clock as long as he can dial in his last couple of moves here.
He's getting tired. It looks like he's getting tired. When you get to this spot, you just need to focus on just keep moving. Next step, the next step, the next step, and he's rightly shaken out, getting some shock because he does need a breather. But excellent job so far by Tanner.
Yeah, and I think with this pacing, Tyler did have enough time to complete the last obstacle. It was going to be tight, but I'm already seeing more efficient moves out of Tanner through this. Phenomenal. Linked every move. Went with the static on all of those. Not bothering getting some chalk here. He's going right for it. Although maybe not looking as comfy on those cliffs as I would have liked. Wow! That reach. That man was out. He was all the way laid out there. All right. We are to the final obstacle. He's got 40 seconds. This is enough to not only complete it, but if he has to take a retry, I think he has enough time for a retry.
Yeah, so this is going to be where it's going to be interesting. Was he paying attention earlier? Fell short there.
Okay, he went for the link. I don't know if that was him being tired or just trying to set the move. We did see during his placement run, when he was setting a link, he didn't have quite enough to get there. We'll see if there's a little bit of adjustment here. I want just a little bit more height here before he goes for it. But thank you, Tanner, for proving me wrong. And now we get to see this special delivery swing around. It looks like he went for a static reach, but he still has some momentum here. Oh, man. And that's going to do it for Tanner.
Well, again, we talk about technical obstacles. That last move, that is so tricky because not only does he have to have his hands just in the right place, but basically as soon as he grabs, he has to be reaching for the next ring. So that is so hard, all while being super exhausted and your muscles just being completely worn out. Tanner did an awesome job there. And look, he's first place. That's great.
Awesome. And those times, just like we saw earlier, the top spots, those times are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. We're going to have to see how Tanner's run holds up. There are 6 runners left to go. Can he hang on to a top spot? It looks like that last move is pretty challenging, but I will say our next couple of athletes, with the exception of maybe Jeremy Casella, they are a little bit taller, so those reaches might be a little bit easier for them. But, I mean, you saw how tired Tanner was. He did not waste a lot of time getting through that course. So the endurance piece of it, definitely going to play in here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, these last guys, they're going to have to really focus. I don't know if they're going for still that speed or course clear, but if they want to place, they're going to have to go pretty quick. And so, they probably are feeling the pressure, but again, they're placed where they are for a reason. So I think they can handle this.
Yeah, I think that the way things are playing out, with having 3 runners make it to the final obstacle, there's a little bit less guesswork as far as strategy goes, right? Because here's what's going to happen. If you can get to the final obstacle quickly, then you are giving yourself time to do that more technical move. You're saving up your retries. And so it's almost a more clear-cut path, I think, strategy-wise. Like, you want to clear. The reason that people are failing that last obstacle isn't because they don't have enough gas in the tank. It's because they don't have the right technique. And so it just makes it a more clear approach that you need to get to that final obstacle quickly and then make sure you execute that move.
Yeah, and with 6 runners left, what's always interesting with a lot of ninja competitions, you can have that obstacle, which seems to be the ninja killer that everybody's going down on. Then somebody figures it out, and it's like the floodgates get opened up, and everybody starts making it. But now it seems like it's that obstacle that we've seen now. A couple people, our top finishers fall on. That's kind of the ninja killer for the top placement. So we're going to now see if these last 6 are going to be able to, get past that and, see another floodgate type situation open and maybe see some course clears.
Yeah, I mean, even if we've got 6 really strong runners here, so any one of them could be that first clear that we're talking about, and then it really would just come down to speed, right? So we think we know what the strategy is now, but that strategy can easily change based on what the next runner is doing. So lots of mental agility going on here. We have lower body agility, but we also have mental agility in Ninja. Who knew?
Yeah, I've said it before, but ninjas obviously are very athletically gifted and work on their training and strength, but it is such a mental game too. Similar to rock climbing, you have to be very smart in your moves and your route and which strategy to take, on each given obstacle under certain circumstances. Maybe one way you would approach a course is different when there's all these finishers versus if you were first up. So many different things that these kids are going through right now. They're so impressive.
Yeah, and speaking of impressive, so we just saw our Steel City Ninja athlete get all the way through, and here comes another. It is Kaylin Kaminsky, moving with that same urgency, right? Moving with that same sense of speed, linking through these moves here, going right into these laches. Oh, beautiful job through the flying bar.
Wow,
they couldn't move the camera fast enough to keep up with him through that.
Yeah, I honestly was not expecting Kaylin to go through that fast. That saved a lot of energy right there, and it didn't even look very risky for him. And so he's crushing this so far.
Yeah, just moving super quickly. This obstacle ain't even a thing anymore. Look at that. It's just casually getting through.
Kaylin right now crushing this course. Very impressive.
So much time left.
Yeah, seriously, so much grip strength on display right now. Looked like he was taking some deep breaths there between obstacles as he was getting some chalk. That's a wise move, but he is not wasting any time whatsoever.
All right, now our last 2 athletes had about 1:30 Kaylin coming in with almost 2 full minutes on the clock. Going for a little bit of a free bar slide. Woo! That pop to the bar, that was beautiful.
Yeah, the way Kaylin is going through this course, he's really dissecting it with so much skill and knowledge too. Just the way he's going about this. I hope he can keep this pace going because the further he gets into this course, he is getting exponentially more tired. And that again was probably not planned to grab the ring with one hand, but he is just putting in a performance right now.
Yeah. All right, so I think, I'm not sure what they're going to rule there, if he has to go and do that obstacle back again. Now, he did overshoot that dismount, but yeah, so they are going to say that he had to use a retry. So he only gets one shot at this because he overshot the dismount there. So that did count as a fail. So he's got to get this perfect first try. Plenty of time on the clock. Can we lock in the technique? Here's the move. Will we see our first clear?
Oh, yeah.
He's got the ring.
Oh.
And we have a buzzer. Here we go.
That was an awesome job by Kaylin Kaminsky. Seriously putting in the work. And he finished that course. Seriously, it's such a fast movement on that last obstacle. Again, getting your hands just right, and then making the grab to that ring. But he looked in control the whole course.
That was so good. I think my favorite part of his run was this obstacle right here. Look at this. Just such confidence to not even let that slider get all the way down. Knows exactly what he's capable of there. Taking some of those risks. And it resulted in a buzzer. Awesome job, Kaylin. Steel City Ninja, hats off to you. 2 killer athletes right in a row. Hopefully this holds up. It would be great to see Kaylin on the podium, but we still have 5 more athletes to go. So if you want to take a top spot, you are going to have to clear the course, and it has to be in a time faster than 2:55. Now, coming up is going to be some athletes that Kaylin has faced before in competition. Bentley Boyd is going to be coming up soon, but first is Eli Acosta.
And, just to kind of run through some of the mental dynamics that are going on, like in Eli right now. So you just got the first course clear. There's all this hype, lots of excitement, a lot of energy, and now it's your turn. So, that could lead to extra pressure for some people, but if you can use that, it really helps you to just kind of build on the momentum of the ninja before you. So hopefully Eli can do that, and we can get a second course clear right here.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. I think the danger in the hype is just sometimes you may be like, oh, okay, they did that really fast. Now I have to do it really fast too. That's what I worry about sometimes in these kids divisions is just letting that pressure get to you. But man, the way Eli's moving right now, very smoothly through, getting a little hung up on some of these rings here, but he doesn't look worried. He doesn't look like it's gonna be phasing him at all. Now we're hopping out to the bogeys here. What I
will say is, I think for Eli to place well, he is going to have to finish this course because so far his time is a little slower than some of the others who have gone further before him. So if he wants to try to get one of those top spots, he's going to have to clear this course.
Yeah, and he's looking super comfy too on the looking really comfy on those slogies. He was using those slopers like they were just, a casual ring or something. So that's a lot of grip strength. He is kind of shaking it out right now, trying to open up those hands. Oh, and dropping down. Gonna wait for that board to settle. Doesn't want to use a retry here.
Nice.
And this obstacle really not super technical. Just kind of about getting through it, right? You got some hand movements to do. You have maybe a bit of a tough reach up, but It's more about getting to the end and getting that dismount. Now, if you're not confident in the dismount here, that could really do it, but Eli looking a little short on time. He's only got about a minute left. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get through this whole course.
Yeah, I think Eli's probably starting to get a little fatigued. He is being a little too generous with his time, I think, if he wants to try to finish. But he's still going. He's still moving forward. So let's do this, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, he could. Looks like we've got a pause here. I think at this point we could maybe get a clear of the 8th obstacle, or of the 9th obstacle. I don't know if we're going to get a clear of the final one. Oh, he almost saved that. He's only going to have about 15 seconds left on the clock to take a second attempt. Looks like he went a little, kind of slid onto that a little bit too quickly, but he's going to have to climb all the way back up there. The timer starts when the obstacle's reset, not necessarily when the athlete is ready. So he needs to get up there.
Well, and unfortunately, one of the things that happens when you start getting pretty fatigued, your technique might be great at most times, but when you start getting really tired, it kind of starts diminishing. You know, you get slower, you don't get as precise, and that's kind of what was happening with Eli there. He was getting tired, but that's a hard course, but he did a phenomenal job, so good job, Eli.
Yeah, had some great moves all throughout. And Eli was our final athlete to go that did not clear the placement course. So every athlete from this point on has, in fact, cleared the placement course. So it is going to be a fight from this point on. Kalen's still hanging on to that top spot. He's got the full clear, 255. Are we going to see some athletes beat that? I do think we will. Kalen Kaminsky only came in 3rd at motive movement, and Bentley Boyd took 1st at that competition. And so we've got a lot of competition right here. So up first is going to be Jeremy Casella, and Jeremy was the slowest clear, but by slowest I mean within a second of 2nd and 3rd, so it really wasn't all that slow. So shorter athlete, we'll see if that has any sort of impact on him on the course, but also very explosive. So every course is a speed course, and I think at this point Jeremy knows he's got to clear, and he's got to clear fast if he wants a chance at that top spot.
Yeah, and I think, Mary, what's going to come into play right now is truly these athletes' level of conditioning, because they are going to have to go fast, but can they go that speed for the duration of this course? Because it is really taxing on you physically, and so we're going to have to see if they can handle what is before them.
All right, Jeremy took a couple of extra swings there, but probably just wanted to make sure he had the momentum. I think we'll see some quick links here. Not the fastest to this point. I think we saw Kalen clear this obstacle with just a couple seconds from where we are now, but that's not taken away from Jeremy's run, because he is very methodically moving through this obstacle, very quick.
Yeah, and you can see that Jeremy is a smart ninja, because even though he is a little on the shorter side compared to some others in this age group, he knew exactly how to get through those rings and just, whoa!
What?
That was a great save right there.
Jeremy, what are you doing, buddy? Oh my gosh. One-handed save. Honestly, that's, I think that the one-handed saves hit the 6-save Sunday a little too often, but that one, I mean, that for him, that could have been the competition if he hadn't saved that. Oh gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you're definitely right, because had he fallen there, then he would have had to do the slogies again from the beginning, and by that point he might just be getting pretty tired. So the save right there, I mean that saved this run, I think.
Yeah, and I mean we were talking about amount of time you have left at this point. He's coming out a little bit ahead of some of our other runners now. Kalen still had he had close to 2 minutes at this point, so he's still a little bit ahead of Jeremy. But I also said Jeremy was about maybe 20 seconds behind at the skyhooks, and now he's catching up. And we did remember Kalen did have that mishap on the dismount here. So that's a window for Jeremy, and I think he knows that he is moving.
Yeah, he's moving so fast. You even saw his coach there trying to get him to chalk up, but he just kind of brushed that aside, and he's going for it.
That reverse grab was great. He's going to need to grab that cliff to get the ring. He's got to take it to the dismount. Now, he's being a little bit more methodical here, getting to that dismount. I think the window is there if Jeremy completes this obstacle quickly. 2:55 was the time. So he's going to have to clear it within the next 10 seconds here. Got to hit this move first try. Really taking some time to build up the swing. Oh, his feet caught. Yikes, and stuck in no man's land. I wonder if he's going to take the reset. Yep. I think that's a smart move. His coach knows if he doesn't take the time, or if he takes the time trying to fix it, he's not going to have a retry. So it's better to just take the retry, get the clear.
But yeah, now he's faced with the dynamic that he really has to be precise and spot on with every single swing, every single grab, because he just doesn't have the time. So
yeah, he's going to have to go for something big off of this move. He's got to grab it. His feet getting caught yet again. Oh, man. He's got to go for it. He's got it. Oh, and it's not enough time for the clear.
Oh, that was a tremendous effort from Jeremy. Man. Just had he even had just one less swing there at the end, he would have made that. Looked like maybe his feet hit the trapeze bar behind him.
Wow.
Oh, that was a great effort.
Wow, that was such a killer run from Jeremy. I think what really almost did him in on both of those attempts was, I think, the that trapeze bar coming back behind him. We haven't seen that impact anybody else's run, but that definitely was something that hurt him, I think, as far as having the confidence to throw early enough to get the buzzer.
Yeah,
But
a lot of people don't know all that you have to think through to be a successful ninja, and even on something like that, the competitors who are still to come can learn from his mistake, since he hit those with his feet. If you straddle your legs or something right there, that can then help you avoid that. But there's just so much to think of to successfully clear these obstacles.
All right, and Bentley Boyd is probably thinking about all of those things. Here is our first place motive qualifier. Now, Kalen came in third place at motive, so he came in behind Bentley. Kalen currently sitting in first right now. Look at these links from Bentley. Absolutely flying through here. Seeing him making sure that he's grabbing the right sky hook. Taking a little extra time to kind of plan things out, but
what I loved watching him do right there, I think he's the first competitor so far today. He kicked off of the truss, which I didn't know if that was in play or not, but he did to help himself get a little extra swing, and apparently it's okay, because they didn't say he had to do a retry. So that was a really smart move right there, instead of having to use extra swings on the ring.
Yeah, and Bentley is one of our athletes who is sponsored by Ocean Needs Everyone. And so he's got some firepower behind him, a really solid organization fueling him and helping him get to these competitions. And good thing they are, because he's having a really great run so far. Although I will say, you know, he's going to need to do a little extra work on the time here. He's not going to have quite as much on the clock as I think he would like going in for the clear of this course. Now, he is our third to last runner. We still have 2 more to go after him. So if he can secure first, then he will guarantee himself a podium spot. But I think if we get a clear, I think he might come in second at this rate.
Yeah, I think if he is going to clear, he really has to be pretty much perfect and waste no time from here on out. So, great, quick,
wow.
Good quick grab right there.
Similar to what we saw from Kalen, just a lot of confidence. But wasn't able to make the one-handed grab. You see him kind of shaking his head. He knew he had that. Now, we saw Eli struggle to reset on these kind of high platforms, but thankfully for Bentley, his time hasn't started just yet. He was able to beat the reset up to the start so he can begin as soon as that clock starts.
You know, one of the challenges that a ninja faces, especially when you're making your way through an obstacle course, is when you are facing something that you think isn't too tremendously hard. Sometimes you can start thinking ahead to the next obstacle, and I don't know if that's what Bentley was doing there when he fell, because I bet you he thought that this would be no problem, you know, to make this grab, and maybe was thinking a little bit ahead already, and unfortunately then that made him slip.
Yeah, and now he really is going to have to be perfect to this point. He's only going to have about 30 seconds, so he'll need to get this move. Now, he's already past the point where he can take first from Kalen. Doesn't have enough time left for that, but we could still get a clear. There is a lot on the line for these podium spots. Not only the bragging rights of being the first Premier Series champ. Getting caught up like Jeremy did just before. And missing that special delivery grab. He's only got 9 seconds left. I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because it looked like he had a really good swing going to where he might have been able to go on the swing before. And the timing of the trapeze bar, it was nowhere near where it needed to, to where it would touch him. I know Bentley's upset there, but that was a great run. Just it's too bad that his feet got hung up on the trapeze bar.
Yeah, he really was throwing the moves, but I think just the overall pace of the course just kind of got away from him, and I think it's happened here at the Skyhooks. You know, he took those extra seconds to really kind of orient his hands, and I don't think that was, something that really would have made too much of a difference for him. But this moment right here, that's his second attempt, but that really was what kind of, I think, may have just thrown him off from getting that full clear. So, Kalen Kaminsky has secured himself a spot on the podium with only 2 runners left. Jeremy Casella and Tanner McKenna currently on the bubble with their runs. Now, our next remaining 2 athletes that have to go, we have Jamie, and then we also have our second runner to go. This athlete right here coming to us from SoFlo, High Speed Harrison. High Speed is going to need to kick into gear here. Harrison was our first clear on the placement course, and we'll see if he can punch his ticket to that World Ninja League Premier Series podium.
Yeah, already straight out of the gate, I like what I'm seeing from Harrison. Very, again, intentional in his movements.
Forward grip in the bar too.
Yeah, he made that work.
That's some confidence.
But so far, just really no wasted energy, except right there. There was a little confusion, it looks like. But yeah, doing really well so far.
Yeah, and I'm happy he skipped that other skyhook move, because we saw just before this Bentley really not, you wouldn't say getting hung up. He got through the obstacle pretty well, but according to the pace of this course, I would say getting pretty hung up. So High Speed Harrison doing pretty well so far, although struggling a little bit with the grip. And it looks like he's going to go back and get some chalk instead of taking a retry here. Good idea. I don't think Harrison's going to need too many retries on this course, but if you can save it, then all the better for you. Okay. Making some casual moves. Now he's not looking super confident in the grip. He's got to make this lâcher here. Oh, good. He's got it. Over to the dismount. He's got 2 minutes left on the clock. Now again, we saw Kaylin have about 2 minutes after clearing this obstacle. So Harrison definitely has some work to do.
One thing I have to say, Mary, these guys are really impressing me with that last move on the slogies. 'Cause we've seen several static it, you know, just like a boss, but then Harrison and others have pretty nonchalantly just done a little quick hop lâcher to it, and I would think that they would slip off, but their grip is just phenomenal. So they're so strong. And again, I just can't stress enough how difficult this is for those who have never done it and maybe watching from home. These young men, they are really crushing it right now.
Yeah, these are hard moves. And I gotta say, these are hard moves for the 6 to 8 division. Like, this is the youngest division of athletes that we have, and they are crushing it. Harrison quickly getting up. Oh, interesting approach to the dismount here, but I guess don't knock it until you try it. Okay. And we are still working. I was like, still working through the course here. Not quite ready for a replay yet, but all right. Now, those boards are swinging just a little bit, but Harrison easily able to overcome it. Wow. This kid's grip. Oh, and just not quite where he needed it to be. He just didn't quite grab the right part of that T-ledge. I don't think you can grab over the top, so they may have told him to drop down or fix his hands.
But even what happened right there before he fell, to be able to go one-handed, like on an under grip ledge like that, as he transferred his to that last grab, that takes tremendous strength. That was really impressive.
Yeah, and we're getting down on time. You can see in the background that 10-second timer, those lights flashing, and it looks like he just ran out of time. High Speed Harrison, unfortunately, a couple of mishaps. Really great speed, a very good start to the run, but I think just kind of got bogged down with some of the difficulty of some of these obstacles. All right, so here's where things stand. Going into our final runner. Our final runner is going to be Jamie Collins Jr., and right now, Kaylin is sitting in first, our only clear of the day, and Jeremy Casella is in second place. So these two gentlemen have secured themselves a spot on the Premier Series podium. But will they take first and second, or second and third? Jamie Collins Jr. is going to get to decide that. And we talked about this earlier. Jamie, the only athlete to really truly differentiate himself in terms of speed. And so I don't know how this run is going to go, honestly. We definitely thought that High Speed Harrison and Bentley before him were going to be able to cruise through and execute these technical movements, but seeing how this has played out, I don't know. I don't know, Travis. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he really has his work cut out for him. Again, he seems like the competitor to me who would thrive in this kind of moment, but there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure that he's feeling because he knows he has to finish if he wants to win, and if he wants to at least podium, he has to at least make it to that last obstacle. So he's got a lot of pressure in front of him, but he's going to have to keep moving, but he can do this. I think he definitely has it in him. We saw from the placement round, but yeah, he's going to have a good pace and really limit any mistakes, any extra movements, and just be super dialed in.
Yeah, it's been an exciting run for sure, an exciting competition. We've got a lot of people in the chat chiming in, supporting their athletes. I do see some comments on the time for the next one. We are running a little bit behind today. For those of you who are on the live stream and maybe looking for the Mature Kids Female, we will be getting that started as soon as we're done here. But we've got one more runner to go. And this is the athlete that decides it all. It is Jamie Collins Jr. This young man gets to have his say on who is going to take that top spot on the podium.
Well, and you know right now already, he's got the same aggressiveness that we saw in the placement round. And wow, I thought he was about to
Yeah.
fall off of that starting platform, but he is going at a very, very fast pace. And so if he can keep that up without, you know, any silly little mental errors or whatever, then he might have this.
Yeah, and a little bit of a slip up here on the rings, but what I have to say I like is that when he got to the rings, he wasn't trying to keep that lightning fast pace that he had on the obstacles before. So he's being methodical where he needs to be methodical. And yeah, so far so good. 2:45 left on the clock. Not the fastest to this point that we have seen, but he is certainly capable of making up the time. And easy work on those sloper grabs. He looks so comfy right here. Very, very thoughtful in his hand placement. Just has to get this last move. Oh no.
So I don't know if you saw that, Mary, but before he made that last grab attempt, he looked like he was looking at the platform already. So I don't know if you know his concentration was maybe focusing on that a little bit, you know, versus getting that grab established first, or was he even thinking about just trying to go for the landing platform from the second to last hold? I'm not sure, but yeah, just that's where focus needs to be. Just always on what you're doing, not getting too far ahead.
All right, and it looks like he's going for, a dismount over to the end there. He gets it. That's a skip that I don't think we didn't see any other athletes do that. You can see his coach, Jonathan Baines, communicating to him with a little bit of sense of urgency. He knows that other athletes have cleared this point with more time on the clock. Now, Jamie's still in a good position to clear. He has the time to do that if he continues to move efficiently, but after those slogies, you know, what's he going to have left in the tank? He's not really cruising through this the way I would like to see. Oh, and that's huge. That fall right there is huge. And you can see it on his face. He knows.
Yeah, you see him rubbing his arms, his forearms. He is definitely feeling this. You know, perhaps he was going just a little too quick earlier on, but at the same time, this is simply a hard course. You know, it doesn't matter. Even if you went slow, you're going to get taxed. You're going to get fatigued on this. So we're going to see if he can pull it together here and finish this obstacle and hopefully keep going and getting some more.
Come on, we're rooting for Jamie for sure. He's going to have about 30 seconds left. And these are obstacles you can do some linking movements from. So we'll see if he's just going to see what we can get out of these last two right here. Nice, very smart pull through with the static. Getting the clear there. We only have about 15 seconds left for him to get through this. Can we get a clear of this final obstacle? Oh, and he's going for it. That is a reach and a half right there. We're gonna... He went for it. Jamie absolutely went for it. That's gonna do it for his run, and that is gonna do it for the mature kid, or for the kids division. You know, such great energy and efficiency displayed through the first couple of obstacles here, but the technical things really are what got Jamie. Still taking nothing from him. He was still able to execute some risky moves at the end there. So definitely happy to see that. And Wow. Going from first all the way into 10th. Not at all, I think, the podium that we expected to see. Our top three actually didn't even make it into the top three.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show, Mary, that again, the placement round, it is just that. It's a placement for the challenge course, and maybe you didn't get one of the top spots from the placement round, but you can still go on and finish the course, crush the course, become number one, and
Yeah.
huge congratulations to Kaylin Kaminsky coming in first
Yeah.
place, only finisher today. That is so impressive.
Wow. So impressive, and also just speaks to the level of difficulty of this course. Now, I gotta make a comment here about what we can expect to see based off of this in the mature kids division. I do think that we might see the placement courses more closely mirror the challenge course as we progress up in the divisions. And that's because in your 6 to 8-year-old division, these kids aren't really focused, right? Really have to the courses. This is a really sound athlete, but I think as you kind of move up in the divisions, you start to see more of a harmonization of those two things. So I'll be curious to keep watching this throughout the day. I'll be on the mic for mature kids and preteens, so I'll keep you posted if my prediction here is right or not. But let's talk a little bit about this competition. The first thing I want to do is just talk about our first athlete to really get deep into the course. Coming in 6th place, that's Reese. Reese, he had not a great start to his run. Honestly, I kind of forgot about the retry, and I thought he was done at the first obstacle. I'm happy that retry's in place. Because, you know, he was able to come back and get all the way to the end of the course there. So great work from Reese. And we're going to see some of these links right here. They teach those links pretty well at TA Fitness Plymouth, I gotta say. Really just great flow, and that definitely set him up for success and helped him have enough time to get all the way through. Again, he lured us into a false sense of security with how easily he got through the slogies. Okay, great work out of Reese today. Another athlete we got to talk about, Tyler. Tyler was really the first athlete that kind of showed us how much you needed to commit to that final move, right? Tyler was an athlete who went right before, a little bit before Kaylin did, and Kaylin was actually able to end up executing that quick move right there. So Tyler definitely had his moment out here. He really showed not only that they are pretty fast and efficient at Skyhook Ninjas, but also what was needed to clear the course today. Had this great move all the way up to the ring, and then eventually had to drop down from that final move. So we got to talk about our winner here today. That, of course, being Kaylin Kaminsky. It's been a bit since we saw him compete. Just talking about the differences in the placements finishes and also your challenge course finishes. You know, completely shook up from any of our predictions here. But we've said this about Steel City Ninja. They make some fast athletes. And ultimately, that was really what I think set up Kaylin for success. He had the time to plan things out, take a breath before he went on to that final obstacle. One-handed save towards the end there. It was a risky run, but all those risks paid off. And not only did Kaylin get our only clear of the day, but he is the first ever Kids Male Premier Series champion.
Yeah, Kaylin did such a good job there. Again, only finisher today, and so you know the course designers too. They're excited that somebody did finish that course, and it shows that these kids are super good, super strong, and even though he was the only finisher, here we go with the awards. But I mean, he did a great job.
He really did.
See, and that's what you love to see with Ninja. I know that different sports can handle things differently, but so much of the time, everyone's in it for each other. Sure, you want to win, you want to be number one, but you're also rooting for your fellow competitors. So I love watching the fellow Podium awardees, fist bumping each other, hugging on each other, and whatever, because they're excited for each other. So that's kind of the essence of Ninja right there.
Well, congratulations to our male kids podium, the first ever of its kind in the World Ninja League Premier Series here in the Concrete Jungle. We're really excited you guys tuned in with us on the stream. Thanks so much for your comments. Hop on over to the Mature Kids Girls live stream. We are going to be getting that started as soon as we are ready with all of the athletes and the rules walkthrough. You don't want to miss any of this action, guys. We're going to see more high-flying action. We're going to see more techniques. We're going to see more high moments. Hopefully not too many heartbreaks, but you never know what's going to happen in Ninja, and you don't want to miss any of it. So hop on over to that stream. This is Mary Layton, the Commentator Ninja, with Travis Rosen, and we will see you very soon.
Bye-bye.